Hello, Lackawanna College writers. Today we are taking a little bit of a break from grammar and going a little bit into style and how to eliminate first and second person pronouns in academic writing. This is something that students tend to struggle with, as first person pronouns tend to put ourselves into our writing, and we like to talk directly to people, so it can be a little change in habit to write more objectively. So before we get into that, let us just briefly review pronouns and point of view. First person pronouns use personal pronouns because they put you personally into the writing. These pronouns are I, me, my, we, and our. They're mostly used again in personal essays, fiction, poetry, diaries, blog posts, editorials, and open letters. We're used to writing these because we tend to write our own social media posts, we write text messages and conversation. However, it's inappropriate for an objective academic essay, report, article, and most nonfiction work where we do not want to put ourselves and our opinions into it. Skipping over second person for a moment, going right to third person. These are the pronouns you're going to use in your writing, such as he, she, his, her, him, it, they, them, and their. Let's quickly go over some third-person point of view differences. I don't want you to get too hung up on these for right now. Third-person omniscient is usually used in fictional storytelling when a narrator describes the thoughts and emotions of multiple characters in a story. Third-person limited is when the narrator in a fictional story only describes the thoughts and emotions of one character. But what you need to focus on most is third-person objective. This is when the author gives an objective, unbiased point of view of a situation without the ability to describe others' thoughts and emotions. This is used in fiction and nonfiction, and almost exclusively in academic essays, especially in your research-based essays. It takes you and your audience out of the essay. So let's go over when you use the word you in an essay. Well, the answer is almost never in your writing, at least not in college. This is used in second person point of view, you, your, and yours. And it's used to address the audience, sometimes in technical writing, advertising, some directions. This PowerPoint, for instance, when I'm speaking directly to you, the audience, my writers, in songs and in speeches. But remember, speeches are very different than academic writing. When you're giving a speech, you know who you're talking to, you see your audience, you're pulling them in specifically. But when you use you in writing, you have to make sure you know your audience. It's a false assumption to indicate that you know what your reader is thinking or should do, because your audience is typically a general audience in academic writing. And it's not necessarily your professor either, even though that might be the person who reads and grades it. So we're in this habit of using this word. A lot of times students use it in their hook to draw the reader in. Let's go over how to get out of this habit. You have various options to get rid of the word you when you have it in your writing. One is to change the word you to the appropriate plural word that refers to a group of people being discussed. So if you had a sentence such as this, you should do research before making a claim in writing, pause for a second and think about who should be doing research. Are you talking about a specific group of people, like students, journalists, reporters, or people on social media? Another option is to simply say people if you are talking to everybody, something that is universal. You can also use the word everyone. Your second option is to change that word you to the word one when writing about a general and universal concept using the singular. Here we have a sample sentence. You should use the third person objective point of view when writing an academic essay. All you would need to do here is replace the word you with the word one. Now, be very careful here. You want to use this sparingly to avoid repeating the same word again and again. Remember, you can always change this to a more specific singular, just as you did with plural. So, for instance, a student should use third person objective. But again, be careful. Use this maybe once or twice in your writing. Students tend to like this option and sometimes overuse it. Your third option, you can completely reword your sentence. Instead of saying, you can judge how a person feels about himself by his appearance, pause, think what you're trying to say overall, and simply change the sentence without having to use the word you. People's appearances often indicate their own self-perceptions. Here's another example. A busy schedule makes you want to get fast food since it's quick. Well, who are you talking to? Are you talking to your peers? Make that clear. Busy students often find fast food convenient. So now, since we've gone over getting rid of second person, how do you get rid of using yourself in your essays? Get rid of first person. These rules that we use for second person can apply a lot of times with first personal pronouns in academic writing. So here we have, our nation is founded on life, liberty, and happiness. Well, don't assume that your reader is from the same country as you. What nation are you talking about? Simply name it. Example 2, I believe that money is the root of all evil. This one's an easy one. Simply take out that I believe and start with a statement. Money is the root of all evil. These are actually a lot easier to get rid of than you think. And a lot of times students use these I think, I feel, and I believe statements, and it somewhat weakens your claim. Just get to the point and say it firmly. Money is the root of all evil. Here's another example. If I was thinking of running for office in 2018, I would start my campaign right now. Replace that and put it in third person. If you're being vague and you're talking about anyone, you can definitely put that in writing. An individual thinking of running for office in 2018 should start his or her campaign now. Obviously, 2018 is long gone, but you get the idea. Be careful of using third-person pronouns that they agree with the subject. So if you put people thinking of running for office, then it should say their campaign. And that's another lesson on pronoun agreement that you can find on our channel. If you have any questions or you have a large essay where you're finding that you are using first and second person pronouns and still struggling to correct it, please feel free to make a Writing Center appointment. It's definitely beneficial to get some one-on-one help. Once you build this habit, it will stick and you will not be tempted to use first and second person pronouns anymore. I hope that was helpful. And again, as always, please feel free to visit the Writing Center for any more help. Bye, everyone.